Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. You better get on your knees and pray. Panic is on the way. Manchester United's transfer panic is well and truly underway. We've got lots to talk about this morning. Dalot maybe off to AC Milan. A good update from David Ornstein, who, to be honest with you, in relation to his transfer updates, has been very good. Remember, this is the person who, when Romano was saying the deal was close for United and Reguilon, he came out and said it's not. He's going to Spurs, and then Romano went, he's right. So David Ornstein has been pretty good as an outlet for Manchester United fans and transfer news this summer. So we'll be talking about that. Goldbridge for Director of Football, says Craig Irwin. I tell you what, you might hear my stomach rumbling a bit this morning. I was just moaning to myself before I went live. Then my stomach's been rumbling for the last 45 minutes. I've had my breakfast, I've had my coffee. It never rumbles like this. I don't know whether it's like subliminal. I think it might be Jadon Sancho trying to talk to me through my stomach. Help, get me out of here. Get me out. I don't know what's going on, but my stomach it's not in pain, just rumbling. It's really irritating when you're trying to do stuff and all you hear is blah, 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 blah. Anyway, David Ornstein's update on Jadon Sancho is that I've got to admit, this is his words on his on The Athletic, I think it's on a podcast. He said, I've got to admit, I did think that this week it would be the pursuit is over for Jadon Sancho. I was actually quite surprised when we called around and it was nope, it's still open. So there we are. That was, I think that was yesterday he said that. Look, things are going to change very quickly with Jadon Sancho. If you really think that it's not going to change, then even today things will change. And it's there is let me just start off with this. There is absolute panic around Manchester United at the moment. I've spoken to a couple of people late last night, and I haven't spoken to them. It was messages, to be fair, and they were like, look, on Sunday, Dan James was going to Leeds. Leeds are now moving on to somebody else. United are going to keep Dan James. The reason for this is not because United wanted to sell James, loan James, or James wants to go. It's because United are in absolute panic. A couple of weeks ago, or 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was like we're totally relaxed about the transfer situation. Nobody was fooled. Were you fooled? Nobody was fooled. Not the press, not the fans. They are in a state of panic. This is not a plan. This transfer window is not a well thought out plan. They might have an idea of what they're trying to do and they might well achieve it. That's what I was told last night. They may well achieve it, but it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Dan James was a player that they were looking to move on because they want to get money in. Dalot is now going to AC Milan, according to Fabrizio Romano, but they want a loan deal and United want money. That deal won't happen quick. It's more time being spent on something that might not get them what they want. 6 weeks they've been trying to sell Chris Smalling just for a couple of million more. Telles has been running 2 weeks now, and they're just trying to save a couple of million more on a player they're getting for cheap anyway. What's going on with the right wing situation? What's going on with players that they want to sell? What's going on with Romero, who's on 80 grand a week and is a third choice goalkeeper? What's going on with Rojo, who's on 80 grand a week and will never be near the first team? What's going on with Phil Jones, who's injured again and will never be near the first team? It's absolute panic at Manchester United, and there's 5-6 days left now. So whatever truth you're clinging to, whatever you're hoping for, it might happen. But don't for 1 second think that this is organised by Manchester United. It is a mess. I even got told last night you might even see something weird like Jesse Lingard or Juan Mata go, not because United necessarily want them to go, but they're trying to clear money off the wage bill and they're trying to raise money. And reality is, at this moment in time, the only definite money they're probably going to raise is Smalling and Romero, which will get them about 20 million quid and about £160,000 off the wage bill because they're both on about 80 grand. Pereira will go to Lazio, but he's not on a big wage and they're not going to pay for him. So, and it's a split wage loan. Dalot will probably go to AC Milan. Again, he's not on huge wages and they'll probably have to split the wages there and there won't be a transfer fee. So, there's a lot of things that United are working on, desperately trying to claw money in. And it's a mess. It's a bloody mess. And whilst all that's going on, United don't run a transfer system when they've got 3 or 4 people who can work on things. It will be the same board that are trying to negotiate a deal with Sancho, that are probably looking at Ismail Sarr as a backup, that are trying to get Telles in, and are then trying to sell Smalling, Dalot, and anybody else they can raise money for. It is a shambles. I think it says that on the thumbnail. It is a shambles what Manchester United have done and how they've allowed this transfer window to just wander into the last few days and suddenly realised, everything we had in place or whatever we had in place is a mess. And it doesn't mean they won't come out of it with what we want. It doesn't mean we won't come out of it with Jadon Sancho. And if they do that, to be honest with you, it's quite right to say that it's been a mess as a transfer window. But if they deliver Jadon Sancho, you're going to forget about it. But it is a mess. We are in a season that's already started. And imagine if you're Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. At this moment in time, if you're Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you don't know after next week whether Romero's here, Chris Smalling's here, Dalot's here, Dan James is here, Lingard's here, Sancho's here, Sarr's here, Tellez is here. You don't know what you're working with. So how can you be anywhere near ready? And I watched Liverpool last night and I just see a team that's added 2 star quality players to a star quality team that has got a definite style of play, is running on air with confidence, playing high intensity, attractive football, and we're already behind them, and then we're behind them because we're not prepared. It's madness. You're dreaming about Sancho being inside, says Robert McCormack, and I don't understand this 90% club. Well, if you don't understand it, you don't understand it. One day you will. World-class reputation but non-league application, says Paul Ingram. As far as signings and transfer dealing, it's a horrific shambles. Yesterday United are going to sign 5 players. Today transfer panic, says William Jonas. Well, William, I think you need to go to the doctors and clean your ears out, because nobody said we were going to sign 5 players yesterday. So it's that sensationalist nonsense that maybe should make you be an Arsenal fan, because nobody said we were signing 5 players yesterday. What was actually said was 5 deals yesterday. 2 incomings and maybe 3, maybe 4 outgoings. That's 2 plus 5. 5 deals, not 5 signings. So don't be a sensationalist and start trying to blame the United stand for Manchester United's failure. It makes me laugh when people do this. We are fans, we talk about things, we give our opinions. We've got absolutely no control on who we sell and who we buy. So direct your anger at the right people and grow up. Mark, we don't need more players as we can build our defence around Phil Jones, midfield around McTominay, and our strike force around Agallo, says Chasm. And it's sad to see what this is doing, people. And Jordan Such says, morning Mark, it was only a few weeks ago we were very relaxed about the transfer window. What a bunch of prats. We are looking to get Tellez on the cheap when he's cheap anyway, says Jordan Such. Yeah, and that's very true. We are spending time. I said this last week. I wanted the Tellez deal done last Friday, because once it was done, he's got to hold the shirt up. I mean, look, even if we did Tellez today, the next 2 days is when is he going to hold the shirt up? That's Thursday. We're just wasting time. We're wasting bloody time. Tellez, Porto will sell Tellez for 18 million. We're trying to get him for 12. It's just we're wasting time. That's what we're doing. We're wasting time on a player that's cheap anyway. Tellez is not an 18 million pound player. Tellez is probably a 30 to 40 million pound player. It's because he's got 1 year left on his contract. He's cheap, and we're still trying to erode that cheapness, so we can, save the Glazers a little bit more money. Centre back, I must just say, there's no centre back coming to Manchester United. It would be stunning. It would be not Manchester United to go and get a centre back now, unless they just decide they're not getting a right winger, which, I think we will get a right winger. I still think it will be Sancho, as you know, but we will get a right winger. Centre back is off the cards, and that to me was a priority position, and it's been left. Why is it so difficult for United? Honestly, I don't understand it. It was only Jadon Sancho I would get it, but it's all transfers, says Harold Holsfairfault. It's been going on for bloody years, to be honest with you. Please say happy birthday to Kisman in a funny voice, says Rocky and Chester Harkins. Well, I'll say happy birthday to Kisman. And I'm going to get stick for this, but you want a quick centre-back. If Rudiger is available on loan, we should go for him all day long. Very unlikely, though, says Sean Turner. Well, it's not Sean. I mean, look, I actually am not a massive hater on Rudiger. I think he's a decent centre-back. But we're not going to take a Chelsea player. Have you stopped the chart show? We miss it, says Texas C. I haven't stopped it. It's just very busy at the moment, as you know. We're busy doing nothing, actually. We're busy as fans because there's so much news out there, and there's been so much news out there for 7 weeks. But now with 6 days left, you sit back and go, we've been really busy for 7 weeks talking about this deal, that deal, this deal, that deal. We've not done any of those deals, and now we've got 6 days where it's going to be relentless. You know, I mean, what I would say is I've seen us be linked to a couple of Italian players strongly by Italian outlets. Milic was one. These deals aren't going to happen. There is going to be a lot of crap at the moment. The problem is, because we've not done the business, and because Man United are always a club that you can throw into a transfer deal, we will get thrown into silly deals in the next few weeks, which I haven't mentioned. We will get linked to players that we're not going to get, because we are trying to be active in the transfer window. So that's going to happen a lot as well. I can sense the fear of Europe's elite when they have James, Sarr and Ighalo running at their defence, says Stephen. Oh no, it makes you want to cry. And hi Mark, it's my brother Krishna's birthday today. Please call him a prat. We love your content. Thanks, says Shri Patel. Well, happy birthday to you, Krishna. I hope you have a good day. Not to be negative, but I don't think we will do anything before Monday, and it will be third option panic buys. The board can kiss my arse, says Ollie. And well, I just really hope, and look, I really do hope that if United do mess this transfer window, something significant happens after Monday, because you can't just sit back and watch this. I mean, as I said last night, Liverpool are going to walk to 20 times. They're going to win the league easy. They're going to level up our record, and we've put up the fight of a bloody dead snail. You know, we've done nothing without its shell. We've done absolutely nothing. I'm not saying we can stop Liverpool. They're a well-oiled machine. But you've got to fight. We've done nothing. They've sent Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. Instead of a sword and a shield, he's got a poppadom and a stick of, you know, mouldy celery. Just like that. It's flapping in the wind. There's no fight at all. And whatever, as I said, whatever you think about the coaching, whatever you think about some of the players, and there's no doubt there are issues there, you cannot, as a football club, you know, the manager and the players, they are important, but the football club's mentality comes from the board. And if our club's mentality is this, what we see at the moment, then, you know, we may as well not bother. There is no ambition to try and be successful, to try and protect our heritage, to try and protect our records. I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson came into this club. We were numerous titles behind Liverpool, and he said, "I want to knock them off their perch," and everyone laughed, and he did it. And he's not even been retired 10 years. And Sir Alex Ferguson would never have thought that in the first 10 years after he'd retired, Liverpool would surpass our league record. Well, they're going to do it. They're going to equalise it this year, and they'll surpass it in the next couple of years, because we ain't winning the title anytime. It's not about this season for United. If we don't get Sancho now, the statement is there. Your expectations subconsciously will drop, and you will accept what the Glazers are inflicting on us. This mundane future where, you know, we will be sat here next Tuesday morning if we don't get the players we need, going, Liverpool are going to win the league, this is who we are, this is what's going to happen, and what are we going to do? Just sit and accept it? Something needs to happen. It really does. But those people who can make things happen don't want to make it happen. And I'm talking about, you know, the home and away fans. I'm talking about the Manchester United Supporters Trust. They're the people who can, you know, lead this. They are the right people to lead it, not the United stand, not a fanzine. It's those people. Will they do it, or will they just allow us to wander into this mundane world thinking it's a cycle? Oh, everything goes in cycle. We've had our good time. Nah, bollocks. It's not a cycle at all. It's nothing to do with a cycle. A cycle is a natural occurrence where you are a well-run club, but, you know, it's just not your time to win. You come second or third. We're not winning titles. We're not getting near titles because of the way the club is being run. That's not a cycle. That is done on purpose. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Rumours on Kante, says Nitin. Hi Mark, I love the channel. Can I get an opinion on the pedestrianisation of Norwich City Centre, says Chris Brown. Alan Partridge, shout out there. And I still think it's crazy we didn't get Sancho first day of the transfer window. We have needed a right winger since Moyes, says God Henke. I don't think Kante would happen, but what I would say about that... Graham House says centre-back is off the cards, question mark. Yes, it is. What I would say about the Kante thing is, I would say it's absolutely unlikely, but I could paint a scenario within the 10%, because I'm in 90% sure that we'll sign Sancho, but let's wander into the 10% for a moment. I think it's highly unlikely, but in that 10%, there is a world where we don't get Jadon Sancho. And I think that if that in that world, in the unlikely 10%, there is a scenario where United have got at least 80 million to spend in this next week, in addition to what they're going to spend on Telles. They've got that 80 million, definitely. Because that's the bid they're going to put in for Sancho, apparently. I think it'll be more than that, but they've definitely got at least 80 million. That 80 million could easily buy you Kante. It could easily buy you Kante and Sarr. But the issue is, that's still a bad deal. It's desperate. It screams of desperation. It's not the plan. It's not what Solskjaer wanted. It's just a desperation that many of you would probably go, oh, I like that, but it's desperation. So I wouldn't say it's totally off the cards. It could happen. It could be done to try and appease some of you lot, but it would be pure desperation. And I also don't think you can sign Kante in 6 days. I just don't think give us 6 weeks, we might consider it, but I don't think you can do that in 6 days. So I don't see it happening. The only deals United are going to really do that they want to do are Telles and Sancho. If they don't do those deals, anything they do incoming wise is a panic, and anything they do outgoing is panic as well. I mean, Dalot on loan to Milan is panic. They wanted 20 million. Pereira to Lazio is panic. Romero, wherever he goes, will be panic. They've absolutely made a mess of this transfer window, and I think everybody can see that. Come we all know Telles this week, probably Friday, and Sarr deadline day. No chance Dortmund will do the deal now without time to get a replacement, says Sean Turner. My brother Samuel Jones, Samuel loves your show. Can you give him a shout out, says Abhishek. Yeah, shout out to Samuel. Thanks for watching. And I'm sure the club are waiting for quarter 4 as it makes better business sense. Fans don't like it, but we're run as a business first, club second. Well, quarter 4 kicks in on Friday, doesn't it? 31st. No, Thursday kicks in because it's 30 days in September, which is tomorrow, 29th today, isn't it? So, yeah, there we go with that. Also, let me just go through some of the news for you then. So, James looks like he's staying. There was a real feeling he was going to go on Sunday, but this just absolutely shows you the desperation and shambles that United are. They're desperate to try and get players out. They're desperate to try and get money in. They'll basically listen to a lot of offers on a lot of players that they probably don't want to let go. Not people like Rashford or Martial or Pogba, but the fringe players, the players that they probably would keep. They would go if they could get some decent money. But how's that going to happen in the next few days? I don't know. That's why they're looking at loan deals. A lot of people think that we're getting £27 million for Pereira. We're not. A lot of people think we're going to get £25 million for Dalot off AC Milan next summer. We're not. There are options to buy these players. There's an option to buy Pereira for €27 million next summer. But for that to happen, Pereira would have to perform really well, and Lazio would have to want to pay 27 million. I don't like these loan deals really. They're not a great thing. There's not an obligation to buy. They don't have to. We did exactly the same with Chris Smalling last summer. He went on loan to Roma with an option to buy for about 20 million, I think it was. He still ends up coming back to United, and he's not gone yet. So Roma end up getting a really good centre-back for a year. We end up back with Chris Smalling trying to negotiate a deal that they don't really want to pay the value for. So, if Pereira has a great season in Lazio, it doesn't mean we're going to get the money for him next summer. Hopefully that will work. But again, it just highlights the shambles that we are as a football club, because we gave Andreas Pereira a 4-year deal a year ago. And a year later, he's surplus to requirements. Phil Jones, a year ago, got a 5-year deal. We don't want him anymore. So again, I mean, look, somebody said in the live comments, when is Ed Woodward's contract up? It's never up. The Glazers love Ed Woodward, even though he presides over a pile of steaming crap. They love Ed Woodward because he actually, from a fan perspective, he should be sacked because he doesn't deliver on the football pitch and he makes lots and lots of mistakes. But from an owner's perspective, if you think about that deal for Phil Jones, that 5-year deal for Phil Jones that costs the club 20 million over 5 years, 4 million a year in contract, well, that actually saves the Glazers money. This is what I mean. We're not run like a football club. We're run like a business. We think, giving Phil Jones 4 million a year for 5 years, 20 million is one of the worst decisions ever, because it is in a footballing sense. But from the Glazers, they love it because they go, well, actually, if we'd let Phil Jones go, we probably would have had to spend 40 to 50 million on another centre-back. So actually, Ed, you've saved us 30 million. Here's a bonus. Because you look at things quite rightly in a footballing sense and a decision, because that's what we should do, you see the incompetence of the United board. But the Glazers don't. They see, that's a good deal for Phil Jones because we don't need a centre-back now. You've saved us 30 million. And that's how it works. The bad footballing decisions tend to be good business decisions for the Glazers' pockets. And that's why Woodward won't get sacked. And he helped them buy the club anyway. So, You know, any football club, Man City, Chelsea, would have sacked Ed Woodward years ago. But not the Glazers, because we're a business club. We're not a football club. And look, even when the Sancho deal happens, and I'll say if it happens for those who don't think it will, even when it happens, that's still a business decision over a football decision, because a footballing decision would have had him in early. Like, you know, to help us maybe beat Palace. But no, we'll bring him in late to save a little bit of money. Man United Mackies, welcome to the members club. And Jordan Such says, when United want to use COVID as an excuse, the Tellers deal exposes them. COVID or not, we can spend 18 million on a player. Always about spending money. Always about spending money. David Ornstein on Jadon Sancho says, Martel, I thought this week the deal was over. I've got to admit, when we called around and nope, the deal is still on. Yeah, started off the show with that, and David Ornstein is obviously, I rate David Ornstein anyway, but he has proven himself to be very accurate. This transfer window, obviously, especially on Reguilon, he was absolutely spot on. So, yeah, David Ornstein we've already mentioned. I'm sure there'll be more news coming in. But, I mean, look, that's just very, very quickly. That reminds me of something else I did want to talk about. You know, moving on from the shambles that is Manchester United, and this week is a shambles at Manchester United. It's unorganised chaos is the word. But what is also really, really important is that when you look at Manchester United, you look at what everybody else has done in preparation for what has been a very, very important transfer window. There's no doubt that we are ill prepared in relation to transfers, and there's no doubt that we are trying to organise chaos, trying to get things done. I mean, even the Manchester Evening News have said this morning that Manchester United are holding various discussions in an attempt to secure more signings before October the 5th. But I thought a few weeks ago we were very relaxed. Well, if we're attempting to get signings in and holding various discussions, we're not relaxed, are we? It's just a bloody shambles. And what we come out of this, God knows what we're going to come out of this. But look, just look at some of our rival football clubs. Look at what people are doing. Look at Arsenal, right? I thought Liverpool played them off the park last night, but Arsenal finished 8th last season. If Arsenal can get 4th this year, it's an amazing year. From 8th to 4th is an amazing year for them. They've been outside the Champions League longer than bloody Leeds. You know, I'm joking, but they've been out a long, long time. They know, they consistently don't finish in the top 4. They've brought Gabriel in, who I think should have started last night. They've brought Willian in, who's definitely given them some balance on that right-hand side and some consistency. And they're highly likely to bring Aouar in, Aouar from Lyon, in the next few days. He's a fantastic player. He played in a Champions League semi-final a few weeks ago, and he was one of the best players on the pitch. So that's what Arsenal are looking to do. You know, they've already got 2 good deals in, and they're going to bring a very good player in by the looks of it in the midfield. So that's Arsenal from 8th. Spurs, I mean, come on. You know, Spurs have done good business, and, you know, Gareth Bale, whatever about it. For them, that's a good deal. So they've improved. Chelsea, I mean, I don't need to say anything more about Chelsea. They finished just behind us in the league last year, and they've gone and done probably too much business. But can you ever do too much business? But they have done too much business, but they've done good business. Man City, look, I think Man City are in trouble anyway. I'm not overly impressed with the business Man City have done, but I'm not overly impressed with Man City. Liverpool, look, miles ahead of everybody else, and they didn't need to go and do loads of business, but they've done 3 bits of good business actually as well, because they brought in a left back. So, you know, everybody has surpassed us in the transfer window with organised transfer strategy. I'm not saying we won't sign as many players as Arsenal, because maybe we will get 2. I think we will get 2 players in this week. But it's the organisation of it that's really important. Every other club who's in the traditional top 6 has a semblance of organisation in their transfer strategy. They've been doing it for weeks. All right, there's a few of them that will be doing business in the last few days. That does happen. But it's not their only business. I mean, we are pretty much doing our major business in 6 days. If we can. Ins and outs. You know, the only player that's left is Alexis Sanchez, and that happened a long time ago. And it was great. It was fortuitous, but it was great. But it's a shambles. It's an absolute shambles. And the organisation, comparable to other teams who are trying to close gaps or extend gaps, is a shambles. Hey Mark, I'm with you on the Sancho situation, but every passing day worries me that the board might bottle it. I'm upset we didn't get a centre-back, which with every game looks like a necessity, says Ami. And this club is a shambles, wrong manager, board not willing to spend. It just makes us fans happy. Just make us fans happy for once, says Torhammer. Yeah, well, I think we can all agree on that one. Pereira is gone to Salazar. I mean, look, I've got to be honest with you. The Tellez deal is frustrating me now because I'm excited about him coming in, but I think we've wasted too long. He's not the priority signing. A left back and a centre back were the priority signings. Not a left back, a centre back and a right winger were the priority signings, and we are. They're trying. I don't know what United are doing really. I think they think we're all absolutely excited about Tellez, and we're just like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? It's not excited. When is it going to happen? It's frustrated. Get it done. And Pereira going to Lazio. I saw people using my World Cup reaction when England beat Colombia on penalties, where I'm screaming and going, yes. I saw that Pereira thing yesterday, and I just didn't even want to react because I was like, is there not a level of stupidity now to our fan base in relation to transfers? And I know that's offensive, but why are we cheering about Pereira going? We're not getting any money for it. We're paying, as I understand it, we're paying half his wages, and he's only on about 40 grand a week anyway. So 20 grand a week. We're saving 20 grand a week. Wow. That's earth blowing in the last few days of the transfer window. Andres Pereira on loan to Lazio, and we're still going to be paying him 20 grand a week. So to me that's not news. Like, it's not. I mean, it's good that he's not an option for Solskjaer to use, but it's not a great bit of business that, he should be being sold. And the big problem is, everyone we want to sell, nobody really wants to buy. Romero, Delo, Pereira, Jones, Rojo. We've got all these players that should not be here. Some of them will be here next week because we can't sell them. I just can't wait for that deadline because I'm sick of reading same things over and over again, says Advocate. I understand what you're saying, but also it terrifies me. I want the transfer window to be open. I think many of us do, but I want it to be over with the players that we need to come in. I mean, it terrifies me that it could be over and we don't get the players in. And for anybody who thinks that can't happen, it can. It happened last summer. I was stunned when the transfer window closed and we didn't buy a striker and a midfielder, and we didn't. Last transfer window in the summer. So, nothing could happen. Hi Mark, considering United's transfers as of now, do you feel that we'll be ready even if we pull a miracle signing and sign players now? No, Adrian, we're not ready. We won't be ready. We're not ready. We've not been ready. We aren't prepared for this year. And even if we get the players in that we need to get in, we're not ready. We aren't getting a centre-back, so we're not ready. But even the players that come in that we need, they're going to take time to adjust. We're not ready for this season. Mark, when is your ultimatum for Sancho happening, says Edward Walters. To be honest with you, I don't think that... I think there's three scenarios for a Sancho deal not to happen. One, they buy Ismail Sarr or someone else shit. Two, Sancho comes out and says he's staying at Dortmund. Three, the transfer window closes next Monday night. They're the three scenarios, really. It could go all the way to the last day. I'd be very worried on the last day because I think it'd be very hard to do it on the last day, but they're the three scenarios for me. Sancho publicly says he's staying, United publicly buy a different right winger, or the transfer window shuts. I don't believe anything Dortmund say because they've done it before. So yeah, they're the three scenarios. Hi Mark, do you think we can go for Upamecano if we don't sign Sancho? Also, please give a shout out to my bro Abhishek and Tim, says Samuel. We won't go for Upamecano because we don't want to pay what he's worth. I think Leipzig would always sell Upamecano for about 50 million, but everyone knows he's available for 40 million next summer, and we're not a football club, we're a business. So a football club might sign Upamecano for 50 million now because you need him. Manchester United would go, well, we'll take our chances next summer when he's 40 million because that saves us 10. Always about saving money. Don't tell me we're not. We are trying to save 3 or 4 million on a Tellez deal, and yet we are trying to get another 3 or 4 million out of a Smalling deal. This is United. Media talk of his United's too low bid is a negotiation tactic. They want Dortmund to expect less and be pleasantly surprised. Glazers will save 5 million, says Erkshares 89. And hi Mark, while everyone is using this year to reset, United's board has done nothing. They've got lost in spreadsheets and are failing to strengthen the foundation laid by Sir Alex Ferguson. Has the damage been done? Shrey the Grey, the damage has been done for a long time. But what I will say, and you do need to keep this in your mind, if you think this summer is bad, next summer is going to be a lot worse. They will absolutely use COVID next summer. If you think they're trying to use COVID now, I don't think COVID is an excuse now because it's too soon. But next summer, they will absolutely use the damage of not having fans in the ground for most of the season to be a reason not to spend money in January and not to spend money in the summer. So that's coming. If you want to give them an excuse about COVID now, they're definitely going to use it over the next coming transfer windows. So anybody who thinks that if we don't buy a Sancho now, that we'll go and buy him next summer, that won't happen. United will absolutely point to all the revenue streams and say, look how they've dropped. How can we spend money? What's your go-to karaoke song, Mark? Says Abhishek. Mate, I actually feel like I'm coming down with an illness, which is really annoying in the busiest week, but it's probably stress, lack of sleep and despair that's making me feel a bit off today. But yeah, let's see. We should try and get Leon Bailey, says Nightingale. I mean, look, one thing I would say, and I think I would hope that most of you would agree with me on this one. All that's off. Left field signings are off. Leon Bailey, Chiesa, Adama Traore, Wilfried Zaha. These can't happen in 6 days. It would be very hard for any football club to do that. To just pick up the phone and say we want this player. You can't do it because look. I think Crystal Palace. I think you could pick up the phone to Crystal Palace and say, look, we get 25% of the fee anyway. We will sign. We'll waive that fee and give you 45 million for Zaha because it's basically 60 million, isn't it? Palace might say, yeah, we're interested in that, but does Zaha want to come back to Man United? What's his wages? What's his marketing? What's his agent fees? You can't do that in 5 days, 6 days. Same with Adama Traore, same with Leon Bailey. You can't get those deals done in 5 days. You can. Some clubs can do it, actually, to be fair, but not our football club. So, the scenario. I know the scenario. I'm 90% club that we're going to get Sancho. If you want to delve into the 10%, then, could be Sarr. I think we will get Telles. I'm over 90% sure we'll get Telles. I think that's definitely going to happen. 90% sure we're going to get Sancho. God knows what's going to happen with the outgoings. If you want to delve into the 10% that isn't signing Sancho, then I think, they probably will do something stupid like buy Ismail Sarr for 40 million, get Perisic on loan for a year. But I don't, and possibly that, I don't see the Kante, I don't see the player that we're not linked to, not with 6 days to go. I don't see any of that, to be honest with you. Look, I think we will have a big day though. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Yesterday was very busy. I think it's going to be very busy up until next Monday night. I think there'll be a lot of red herrings, i.e. stories that don't mean anything, but there will be some things that do mean something. So smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We will obviously go live if anything does happen, and I'm sure things are going to happen. I hope we get some positivity today because there's a lot of frustration and it is a shambles at the moment. And United, I'm not saying United can't turn this shambles into something positive, but it just seems like Manchester Evening News has said, United are in many discussions about trying to get signings in. That just sounds chaotic. That sounds desperate again. And when United get chaotic and desperate, they start the day trying to get Rondon, then Josh King, and end up with a Garlo. So it's chaotic. It's a mess. And it's concerning. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all soon. God. Speak to you all soon.